Rena, thank you. Now for more on Saddam's trial, we turn to Paul Williams from American University. He's a former State Department legal advisor and a Nobel Peace Prize nominee. And here in studio, Greg Kehoe, a former advisor to the Iraqi Special Tribunal. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Greg, first to you. You were in Baghdad. You're watching all of this develop. What is your take now with this new judge kind of running the show?
I think the judge is trying to take control. He's trying to make these proceedings settle down. He's going to get the defendants and he's going to get the defense attorneys under control, just like any judge would do, not only in the United States, but throughout the rest of the world.
So this isn't a circus?
I think this case has got to develop over time. It is not a circus. It is going to develop over the time. The Iraqis are learning how to conduct these types of proceedings. Things will settle down. And I think, Brett, we have to focus on the horrific stories that these witnesses are telling as what happened to them at the hands of Saddam's Secret Service.
Paul, is that part of this, the grandstanding, is basically to take the focus off of these witnesses who are telling these horrible stories, right?
Yes, Brett. What you've seen in the past is that whenever Saddam or his colleagues, co-defendants, are faced with testimony, in particular of female witnesses talking about sexual assault, or today they were talking about removing the headscarves and electrocution or electric shocks to the head, that's when Saddam sort of kicks into his antics and tries to stir up chaos in the courtroom. He has no real viable defense, and quite frankly, he and his attorneys have, I think, dreamed up this strategy of trying to turn it into a circus. And Greg is right. This judge is putting him back, both physically and psychologically, in the defendant's box.
So, Greg, is Saddam Hussein getting a fair trial?
Saddam Hussein is getting a very fair trial. He's in the courtroom, listening to witnesses, listening to the evidence being presented before him. He is getting the type of trial that he never gave to so many people in Iraq. The fact that he is trying to disrupt those proceedings is a choice that he is making with his defense counsel. And I think Mr. Williams is 100% correct. Those moves are calculated moves to try to disrupt this matter and not focus on the actual evidence before the court, which is horrible.
Paul, there are people out there that look at this back and forth in the courtroom and worry that this thing is going to fall apart, and perhaps it's a reflection on the new government. Talk to us about how this trial really reflects on the Iraqi government.
Yeah, what you're seeing in the play out in the courtroom is exactly the same things you're seeing playing outside in Baghdad and the other cities in Iraq, and that's essentially a battle for the psychological control. Just as the judge is trying to essentially bring justice to the Iraqi people, the Iraqi government is trying to bring a stable political situation and a security situation, and these two go hand in hand. Part of normalizing the political situation in Iraq is to delegitimize the former Ba'athist, the former Saddam regime, and to essentially promote justice, and then that plays into the political developments
Greg,
as well.
You were there on the ground. You saw them start this process from the very beginning. Do you see this as real progress on the judicial side for Iraq? It's a story that a lot of people don't know. There's a court system. It's not just Saddam's trial. What has happened there since the beginning, since you were there?
It is tremendous progress. A court has been set up to try Saddam Hussein in an open court with due process safeguards where he is permitted to put on a defense for the entire world to see. For us to sit here in New York and examine what's taking place in Baghdad, and for anybody else in Iraq and the rest of the world to examine, that was unheard of under Saddam's regime. This is a very important step. The reestablishment of the rule of law is essential for a democracy to take hold in Iraq or any place else.
Greg, Paul, thank you very much. We'll be watching this one. We'll have you back.
It's a pleasure.
Up next, more Sable.